Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Today I'm going to talk about Carl Jung's Finding Your Life Purpose. That's what we're all here for. We all have a purpose. Each and every one of us has a purpose in this life to fulfill. And some don't find their purpose, their meaning, right away. It's a journey after all. And enjoying the journey is part of what life is all about. Now, he has 5 of these finding life purposes. What do we want to say? Statements or course of actions to do to find our purpose. And the first one is self-reflection, individuation. That's finding our authentic selves. That's what we feel passionate about. Our values. What separates you from other people, right? What is it? What makes you, you? And what makes me, me? Is our passions. What do we love to do? Our values. What do we hold important to ourselves? What do we value? Do we value a life of travel and being on the road, going from one country to the next? Or do we value family and home, buying a house, getting married, settling down, having children? Or do we value a life unto God, like a nun or a priest whose whole life is just worship and devotion to the Lord? No marriage, no children, no traveling all over the world. Everyone has a passion and they have values. Some people value money, making as much money as possible. Other people value their time, not so much making money, but, helping other people, volunteering their time to help other people. So that's how we differentiate ourselves, okay? By our passions and our values. According to Carl Jung. I used to say it's Carl Jung. First I called him Carl Jung. And someone said, nope, you're saying it wrong. Then I thought it was Carl Jung. It's Carl Jung. Carl Jung. So I think in this video, finally, after doing several videos on the man, I get to pronounce his name right. So the second one is exploring your unconscious. And I'm going to quote the man on this because this quote is really blew me away. And it's so dead on. It's spot on, like the British say. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. You know how many people say, it was fate that this happened to me? And it could be good or bad, But you are control of your own life. And the only way that you can control your own life is to explore your unconscious. Now, how do you explore your unconscious? Well, you can interpret dreams. You can do a lot of self-reflection. You can do it in psychoanalysis. Carl Jung was into psychoanalysis. It wasn't just like Freud. People only associate Freud with psychoanalysis. You can do it like that, through therapy, through spiritual retreats. There's a number of ways you can explore your unconscious. But until you find the hidden meanings, of your psyche, you're going to be dictated by things you're just going to let life dictate what happens to you, instead of being aware. Number 3 is follow your inner guidance. That's your inner voice, your intuition. And so many times I made horrible mistakes in my life because of number 3. I did not follow my inner voice, my intuition, what Carl Jung calls your inner guidance. I did not, your gut, okay? In essence, what Jung is saying is follow your gut. And the times that I didn't follow my gut, life just ran me over. I wasn't in control of my life anymore. And that has happened one too many times. Now, I'm nearing 60, I do follow my gut. I do follow my inner guide. I listen to my bodily, somatic, what my body is, what it's saying, what it's telling me, My body will tell me. If a person is bad, I'll start cringing. My body will react. I believe very strongly in body language, because unless you're a real narcissistic psychopath or something, you really, and you're trying to manipulate someone, so you're trying to, not too many people can fudge body language because you're not aware of it. How can you fudge something you're not even aware you're doing, I could do a whole nother video on body language, because I feel that strong about body language, because you can always read someone not by what they say, because I could say anything, right? I could smile and say, hey, you know what? I'm great. I'm doing awesome. I'm making like tons of money on my YouTube. I'm selling my books. Man, look at it. I'm doing great. But there's always going to be some giveaway that, I don't believe her, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm holding my hands like this while I'm saying it, I look up, I could just do a whole nother video on it, but I'll often watch someone, what they're doing with their hands or their feet, and then I'll Google it under body language and find out, the person said this, but they were doing something else. I think holding your hands or something, there's some sign of deception when you do like this, or if you look away and you don't look at the person. But anyway, enough about that. Number 4 is shadow work. Now, I talked in depth about shadow work. That's the dark side. See the light? You can see my, a shadow, because the light is a little bit of the shadow. I'm in and out of the light. I did the last video, the one before this one, yesterday's video, I did on shadow work. And that's your dark side. And remember I said about the unknown, the personal shadow and the collective shadow. The personal shadow is the unknown dark side of your personality. All those things that you do not want to be, that you do not even acknowledge in yourself. I'm not going to get into that now, because that's the whole video I did yesterday. So you can just watch it. Watch Carl Jung's Shadows. And then you will get all the in-depth shadow work, what he calls shadow work. And the fifth and final one of Carl Jung's Finding Life's Purpose is to connect with your collective unconscious. Now, what is your collective unconscious? Because I couldn't understand what it was. That's your spiritual side. Those are your rituals. Now, some people are more spiritual than other people. But to find your path, I think that more people need to become spiritual. Spiritual practices. Maybe that involves religion, maybe it doesn't. But another interesting thing I learned about Carl Jung, now I'm getting to really like the man. Though I think he died in 1961, so he's been dead. He was dead years before I was even born, in 65. He believed in God, you know. So I don't think Freud believed in God. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so that was like his spiritual guide, his spiritual path. But there's many rituals we take in our daily living that may help us with our collective unconscious. And that is these rituals that we perform, whether it's our religious rituals or whether it's our own like inner workings, our own meditation practices can be spiritual, going deeper in through meditation. It's these rituals, whether, that help us in doing that. So I hope I shed some light. I'm not a psychology teacher. I'm not even a psychology major, but I love psychology. I'm always fascinated, in psychology. And that's why I come on here and do these videos. And I also, want to relate more about myself. Now, my purpose in life is to educate people more about not only psychology, but about, therapy and unethical psychologists in particular. I've written many, many books. I'll put the link to my latest book, Sexually Exploited by 3 Psychologists. I hope you buy it. Because I've been through it. I lived the nightmare. I've been, sexually abused, emotionally abused, physically abused by these psychologists. And the thing is, I didn't even know that, I thought it was me. I thought I was responsible for the abuse, just like little children, right? They blame themselves. Mommy beat me up because I was a bad girl. I didn't clean my room. I was naughty. That's why Mommy gave me a black eye. You see, it's sad, but as little children, we blame ourselves. I shouldn't have bothered Daddy. He was tired after working all day. I should have never, asked Daddy that question. That's why he slapped my face. He was tired. I should have never bothered him after he worked all day. You see, we blame ourselves. Now, when you have other psychologists, other doctors saying that the patient is responsible, these are like from Harvard, Yale. What am I? I thought, well, I don't have this education, right? And these doctors say I was responsible for the sexual relationship with my psychologist. I was equally responsible. To quote them accurately, I was equal, but I can never be equally responsible for a sexual relationship, and no patient can ever consent, ever, to their psychologist because of the power imbalance. This is what I didn't know and I learned, and this is what I'm trying to teach people so they are aware that the doctor has all the control, all of it. You cannot give consent. It is rape. Even if you said, well, he didn't rape me. I agreed. I wanted to have sex with him. I wanted it. I asked for it. It wasn't him. Yes, it was. Because of the power imbalance, you could never give consent. And if you don't give consent, it's rape. And you can't give consent. See, I had to wrap my head around this myself. I had to wrap my head around that. And that's why I go on here. And that is my purpose in life, to educate people so they won't be abused. So, they'll see it, for what it is. I didn't see it that way because the other doctors who I didn't have sex with, who also sexually exploited me. If you read the book, you'll find out how the Yale doctor and the Harvard doctor did, even though I didn't have sex with those two. But how they try to convince me that I was as responsible as a psychologist who abused me. And I wasn't, And that's when I went to the licensing board over Dr. Richard Geist, because I wised up in a big, big way. And now I want to share that with everyone else so that they will see. So I don't, I'm not coming on as a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a patient advocate, a victim advocate, a patient advocate. That's what my role is. So there you have it for today's video, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, take care.